Top 5 favorite classic Doctor Who cliffhangers. This list is very subjective. Let me know your favorite classic cliffhangers in the comments. At number 5, we have The Web Planet. Now, The Web Planet isn't a great episode. It's not one that I typically run to go rewatch. However, it does have some solid cliffhangers. For example, the cliffhanger where the Doctor gets trapped in a tube and that looming voiceover goes, "Why have you come here?" Great suspenseful cliffhanger. And the cliffhanger where the Doctor and Vicky get trapped in a web, another great cliffhanger from The Web Planet. But my pick is actually from episode 1, where the TARDIS goes missing and the Doctor's like, my ship is missing. Nothing else needs to be said. That was an amazing cliffhanger. Always stood out to me when I first watched it. I kind of feel the same way about the episode Time Meddler. I've seen that a number of times. I don't think it's necessarily a great episode. It's been a good sleeping pill over the years. Coming in at number 4. Some people might think I'm joking with this choice, but I genuinely find this to be the cliffhanger that I think about the most. It is Dragonfire, episode 1. Dragonfire always gets clumped in with the bad episodes of Doctor Who. Maybe it's because it's season 24. I've genuinely always enjoyed Dragonfire. I don't know if I would call it underrated, but the way it builds tension, what it does with the Ace character, that alien whose brain pops out, that whole prophecy, I think it's done pretty entertainingly. It also has some really memorable and nice looking settings. So that cliffhanger in episode 1 where the Doctor is dangling from a cliff with his question mark umbrella, that shit still sticks out in your head. I don't care if people think that it was just as cheesy as the rest of this era. I think it was very well done. At number 3, this was kind of an obvious pick. We have The Deadly Assassins. Deadly Assassins used to be one of my top 10 favorite Doctor Who stories ever, back like 10 years ago. Then, in recent years, I realized that I prefer other Tom Baker stories, like City of Death, Pirate Planet, State of Decay, Horror of Fangrock, even Terror of the Zygons I think I prefer over Deadly Assassins. That being said, it's still undeniably such a great episode. The way the tension unfolds, and the way it depicted Gallifrey was absolutely stunning and perfect. Some might say that The Deadly Assassins is the only good Gallifrey story. I might have to agree with that. I mean, I love Invasion of Time, it's a fun story to watch, but if you're making the argument that Invasion of Time kind of demystified Gallifrey, I kind of have to agree. Even though I loved seeing the outside shots of the Citadel with the other Gallifreyans, I like the way it built on different Gallifreyan myths and technologies, and seeing the other Time Lords interact with the Doctor. I think it does some things pretty well. But I'm going on a tangent. By the time we get to episode 2 of Deadly Assassin, we get all this very interesting tension building. The Doctor enters the Matrix, and it's a fight for him to try to stay alive. Then his foot gets trapped in a railroad, and a train is coming to kill him. What an incredible, outstanding cliffhanger, undoubtedly. And at number 2, this was another pretty obvious pick for me. Spearhead from Space, episode 3. Spearhead from Space is one of my favorites, if not my favorite classic Doctor Who story. It balances everything so well. I love the way that the Autons, the Nestine consciousness, feel like a looming, threatening presence. And the way the story builds up by episode 3. General Scobie's facsimile enters his door, and that eerie, technophonic music. And that eerie music starts to play in the background, and the Auton is about to kill him. Nothing more needs to be said. What a terrifically satisfying cliffhanger. And my pick for the best cliffhanger is Ghostlight, episode 2. So I don't know if I'd necessarily call Ghostlight underrated just like Dragonfire. However, I did watch it again recently, and it just reinforced everything I love about classic Doctor Who. The atmospheres, the setting, the weird characters. This is a story which plot is very hard to put your finger on, but I just love everything about this story. It might have to make my top 10 favorites of classic Who. By the time we get to episode 2, and it's time to reveal Light, and he enters through those doors, oh, such great ambience and suspense. Nothing more needs to be said. Alright guys, that does it for my top 5 favorite classic Who cliffhangers. Let me know your top 5. See you in the next video.